Welcome to Facts Time. To get more videos, please subscribe to our channel, and press bell icon to get latest notifications. 10 amazing facts of human body that everyone not known. Eyelashes. Mites live in your eyelashes. These creepy, microscopic creatures live in the hair follicles and pores of your face, and particularly love eyelashes, where they feed on oils and dead skin cells. They like to come out at night to mate and reproduce. However, if they multiply too much, they can cause skin and eye irritation. Delayed eyesight. You would think that our eyes register what they see right away, this very instant, but this is only partially true. Here's what actually happens. Our eyes do register the outside world right away, but it takes some time for the brain to get the signal from the eyes. So, it does all happen that very second but not that very millisecond. It turns out that humans pick up the visual signals immediately, but our brain cannot decipher them for at least 12 to 13 milliseconds. At MIT, a research was conducted, and the subjects were shown a series of images, with every single image lasting from 13 to 18 milliseconds. Then, as the experiment went along, the exposure time for every image got shorter and shorter. 13 milliseconds was the lowest threshold for image recognition. Since the brain doesn't register the visual input right away, we can say that, technically speaking, we're all living in the past. Far out. Hair. You are hairier than a gorilla. Most people have about 5 million hair follicles on their bodies. That's about 3 times more than a gorilla. The difference is that human body hair is a lot finer, therefore it is a lot less noticeable. If you have excessive body hair, however, you'll be pleased to know that it has been linked to a higher intellect. The plot thickens. Our body was designed as the perfect mechanism. It protects itself, and prepares for bad situations on the horizon. As an example, when stress and anxiety hit our body, it responds by activating blood coagulation. The reason for this is to prepare for potential damage to the system. If a physical injury happens, there is a high chance of hemorrhage. The blood can begin to thicken in advance, so that clotting can be encouraged and prepared for an incident. However, this can often lead to more trouble. Although quick blood coagulation is a good measure in the short term, it might result in fatal consequences. Studies have shown that those patients with anxiety disorders stand a 3 to 4 times higher chance of dying from heart failure, because stress-caused coagulation can easily lead to heart attack. So, don't get too angry, or too nervous, it really isn't good for you. The brain. The brain itself cannot feel pain. While the brain might be the pain center when you hurt yourself, the brain itself does not have pain receptors and cannot feel pain. However, the brain is surrounded by lots of tissues, nerves and blood vessels that are receptive to pain, and can give you a pounding headache nonetheless, completing the blind spot. The blind spot is an interesting phenomenon of our visual senses. Literally speaking, it is any obscuration of the human visual field. It occurs because there are no photoreceptor cells to detect light on the optic disc, thus, that part of the visual field is literally invisible to us. The blind spot, or the blind point, as it's also referred to, was discovered by a Frenchman named Edmé Marriott in the 1600s. So, how come we don't notice these blind spots? Well, we should thank our brain for it. Again, the brain proves to be a heck of a computing device. Although one part of the visual field is missing, it's not all of it. So, the brain does the next logical thing, it assumes. Yup, the brain processes the given data, and logically draws the conclusion. Gas of body. You produce 1 to 3 pints of gas per day. We produce far more gas than we realize. That's because most of it actually doesn't smell. The average person farts, or releases gas, about 14 times a day, and that can add up to between 1 and 3 pints of gas per day. Which means that you will release about 500,000 farts in your lifetime. Tears. Just like the muscles, we have 3 distinct types of tears. Think about it for a moment, it's not the same when you're crying while cutting onions and when you're heartbroken, right? Well, the reason is that it's from different types of tears. The first category is the so-called basal tears. They occur all the time, and are actually necessary for our survival. Who would have thought we needed tears to survive, eh? But, these tears are produced to keep our eyes lubricated and wet 24/7. Then, there are reflex tears, the dreaded onion tears, but also those happening as a result of severe eye irritation, foreign particles, chemicals, etc. And then, the famous psychic tears, from laughing too hard, crying over a breakup, hitting your shin bone against something hard, etc. And the reason why these 3 types are different is their evolutionary purpose. Basal tears are there to keep us alive and well and are thus full of antibacterial tears. Just like the muscles, we have three distinct types of tears. Think about it for a moment, it's not the same when you're crying while cutting onions and when you're heartbroken, right? Well, the reason is that it's from different types of tears. The first category is the so-called basal tears. They occur all the time, and are actually necessary for our survival. Who would have thought we needed tears to survive, eh? But, these tears are produced to keep our eyes lubricated and wet 24/7. Then, there are reflex tears, the dreaded onion tears, but also those happening as a result of severe eye irritation, foreign particles, chemicals, etc. And then, the famous psychic tears, from laughing too hard, crying over a breakup, hitting your shin bone against something hard, etc. And the reason why these three types are different is their evolutionary purpose. Basal tears are there to keep us alive and well and are thus full of antibacterial nose and ears. Your nose and ears keep growing, bones stop growing shortly after puberty, and muscle and fat cell division decreases as you age. But cartilage in your ears and nose continues to grow until the day you die. Not only does cartilage grow, the earlobes also elongate from gravity. The brain ignores the nose. This may sound like an English idiom, but it's not. It's actually one of the facts of life. Yup, our brain simply ignores our nose, not as a body part, but as a visual object. There is a neurological process called sensory gating, which is nothing more than a fancy term for the filtering of information. The human brain is constantly being bombarded with all kinds of information, in the form of visual, audio and other sensory stimuli, and it has to sort out what the heck is going on with all of that data. This is why the brain came up with a brilliant idea, to filter out the given information and make a priority. To get more videos, please subscribe to our channel, and press bell icon to get latest notifications.